Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green. Welcome back to YuGiOh the Falsebound Kingdom. First time, we met plenty of monsters, recruited a couple to our cause and liberated the Makard region. However, we still have a way to go until Vaxi Island is completely liberated. Let's get to working on our teams for a moment. So, as we can see, we got a little bit stronger. Now, I did check things up. The battle points, life points, and action points, they determine how much your stats grow as monsters become more compatible with the marshal in question. So that solves that little problem. Now, we did wind up getting some items in the upcoming battle, but I'm going to replace Karibo. Let's see, we'll change things around a bit. What I want to do here with Shimon is to switch out Beaver Warrior with Blackland Fire Dragon. While we switch Karibo out. Note that on our monster select screen we get numerical order, alphabetical order, by type, by level, hit points, attack, defense, action stars, and compatibility. So you can search based on compatibility, which is fairly handy. So, interestingly, now our dragon foot there, that is obviously the dragon type. The animal fangs are the beasts, swords are warriors, and these are Darklands monsters. We only have 11 monsters at the moment. Yugi can have a beaver on his team. Fistus is going to replace Kanekabuto with Silver Fang. So, this team will get a little bit better as we go. We can see that compatibility has changed, and we also have a few items along the way. Now, let's see, who should I... Now, I'll put Monster Reborn on Yugi's team. As for Fistus and Shimon, let's put the blue medicine here. Blue medicine allows us to restore a small amount of life points, and the uses, I believe, are actually restored in between battles. As far as I can remember, anyway. So there we are. We've now upgraded our teams, but we will be able to get some more items in the next chapter, because this is where we start to get equipment at various buildings, which we will see as we get to our demonstrations. There will of course be all the usual prattle and palaver. Let's get the battle going. I do have a bit of exposition, but we'll get through that. We'll get through some more monsters, which I will introduce. And away we go. Note that I will be introducing the monsters as we recruit them. So some of them are going to take a while to show up. As Time Wizard bounces around.
It's awfully quiet. There doesn't appear to be any enemy movement. Yes, we seem to be lucky. The enemy doesn't seem to know that we're here. According to our scouts, the closest fort isn't guarded at all. Let's use this opportunity to take the fort and fortify a defensive position there.
So, now we can buy some items. We will be able to buy different items depending on where we are. So, as we can see, here we can buy Goblin Secret Remedy, Blue Medicine, and Monster Reborn. That's alright, but we can wind up getting some much better items. Note that we can store, as we'll see here, 512 items in the convoy. This does not count the items equipped to monsters. So, let's send out Yugi to the fort over here, and we'll introduce some of those monsters. Mystic Horseman made its international debut in Metal Raiders and Kaiba's starter deck. In Japan, it first appeared in the EX starter box before making its main set appearance in Volume 7. While Mystic Horseman's card text boasts about its speed, the only time speed matters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is how fast your deck does its thing, so Mystic Horseman is unfortunately a bit outclassed overall. It can move reasonably quickly in this game, which is a bit of an advantage. Maybe it's a little noteworthy for its slightly unusual defensive value. Otherwise, it's really not much chop even at the time of its release. At least its role as fusion material gave it some mileage in the card game. Could be worse there. But this will do alright in the game, and interestingly it's treated as a warrior monster even though it says beast on the card. A little unusual, honestly. And there we go, we have liberated one of our... we've liberated a new base, sorry about that.
We've successfully taken the fort from the enemy. The few guards that were here have run off. It won't be long before they learn of our attack and try to retake the fort. General Sebakal's unit is powerful. What do you think of building equipment to increase the fort's defenses?
What do you mean by equipment?
Equipment are offensive and defensive additions made to a castle or fort that provide an advantage in battle. For instance, you could install a large cannon to fire at approaching forces or construct a barricade. To install additions, position the cursor over the castle or fort and select Equipment. Then select an addition from the list with the A button and it will be installed. Of course, each new piece of equipment requires money, so be sure to plan carefully. So, what we're going to do is build the barricade. This will improve the attack and defense of our monsters. I will also build a trade union. This will allow us to buy certain items. So, we want a few red medicines. That should do for now. That will keep us well healed. Shadow Spell, let's pay attention to that. Shadow Spell is level 1 magic. If the monster has level 1 magic as one of its abilities, it can use Shadow Spell. It simply paralyzes an opponent and stops them moving. Now we're ready to go into the first battle. Now, there's something very interesting. We are actually facing the only trap monster that appears in the entire game. This monster in the middle of the enemy ranks is embodiment of Apophis, which is a trap monster in the card game. Quite a few monsters do undergo a few transformations. Now, if we pay attention here, we'll note that Zaragan has blue medicine. Embodiment of Apophis is also very strong, but we want to shoot the medic. Always shoot the medic. There is perhaps a certain priority later on, and that is enemies with polymerization. Fusions can be a nuisance to deal with. So yeah, probably should have attacked something else, but there we go. Zaragan demonstrates what the blue medicine does. It heals a percentage of the monster's life points. Let's see, they're restored 178 HP. I'll have to check. You'll also note we're doing a bit more damage on account of the fact we have the barricade on our side, improving our stats. Some of these monsters we will not see for quite some time. But we'll get to them eventually. All we have to do now is just chip things down. I will also get to introducing the other items that feature throughout this particular chapter.
I'm going to have Yugi putting in a fair bit of work throughout this. Shimon and Fizdus will get to be useful, but I will ultimately be focusing on Yugi a little bit more because he has a very important role. I mean, he's the leader, but he will also be the one I'm using to recruit a certain powerful team. We will be able to find some wild monsters much later on. And once I've been through this particular battle and defeated this enemy, I can demonstrate some more equipment. There we go. That wraps things up for my attacks. Creuel is not overly powerful. It has reasonable defense, but it doesn't do huge amounts of damage compared to some of the others. There we are, we won, so we get a little bit more experience, and we have a slightly higher level beaver. There is so much irony in me actually getting good mileage out of a beaver. Now, if we can get the healer into place, but that will be useful for later on. The healer helps speed up our recovery. You'll boost post-battle recovery, but you can also spend funds equal to the monster's lost HP in order to recover that monster's HP to full. Like, let's say, let's take a look at things after we've taken out Embodiment of Apophis. Celtic Guardian is missing, has lost 391 HP. Now let's see, 419. Yeah, 391 HP. So it would cost us 391 gold to get Celtic Guardian back up to full health. So that's how the healer works. The anti-ground cannon, any monster that has a foot movement type, like our Beaver Warrior. Anti-ground cannons will open fire on teams led by one of those monsters, chipping down their health considerably. Anti-air cannons take care of flying monsters like Feral Imp. The Watchtower increases the range of the units, which... it increases the range of the cannons, so you'll be able to hit targets from further out. Which can be useful, it really depends on the circumstances. This battle shouldn't be over in a long time. It'll be done very quickly. There we go. Victory! All right. Very good indeed. So, we'll leave the team there. We picked up the healing items we want. Now I'm going to have Fizdus move to deal with the Dithton, and we'll get moving on our introductions. Man-Eater Bug made its international debut in Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. In Japan, it debuted in Volume 3. In both instances, it was a super rare, which is pretty fitting for the time, if I'm going to be honest. It's pretty hard to go wrong with this one, and on top of that, it is one of the original 5 effect monsters that made their appearance in Volume 3. Man-Eater Bug and its ilk, cards like Old Vindictive Magician and Night Assailant, are useful 1-for-1 cards which, in regular circumstances, not including all the ridiculous stuff we've got now, can throw off an opponent's attacks and remove a hard-earned powerhouse. You're not going to get much out of it in battle stats, and of course certain cards will render it useless even in the old days. In this game, it's weak but fast and attacks quite often, as you'll see in its upcoming battle, but no matter what, it's still a pretty serviceable card that has a good reputation for a good reason. Time for another battle! So, we can see that one of our monsters in the enemy ranks is fairly tough to deal with in terms of power. we can see that Dark King of the Abyss has Night Adept. So does the Snake Hair. Larvae Moth is just there. So we always want to focus on our strongest adversary. If they're of roughly equal strength, try and take out the one with the most action points, because that can often be a key to victory. We don't get much of an advantage attacking, and of course that missed, didn't it? Fortunately, there are some equip items that prevent attacks from missing their target, which is really useful. However, they only work for very specific monsters. We will hopefully get to see some of those. And there we go, String Shot. Just like the days of Pokemon. Always some annoying insect type using String Shot. Alright, now start making yourself useful, Horn Imp, thank you. I mean, you've got the extra power because it's night, but then again, so does Dark King of the Abyss, and they are just trying to beat each other up. Penguin Soldier is going to be a good healer because it has lots of action points. We can keep our team pretty fresh, in all fairness. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage. Now, the AI has, for whatever reason, chosen to guard a couple of times. This is an interesting quirk of the way they play. They'll often wind up doing stupid things like guarding on their last action point. I mean, this is very good for protecting themselves. But it can also be a bit of a problem if they might want to finish you off. And it's actually attacking something else. It should be alright, but Penguin Soldier's there to heal if we need it. We will get a bit of extra experience into Silverfang, and over time, as the power of monsters starts to increase, it's guarded every time. As the power of monsters starts to increase, we'll have an easier time KOing our opponents in one round. Especially when we start to get the powerful attacks and the extra action points, coupled with pretty much, well, we get the combo moves, we get the better attack, we get the better action points, we get better compatibility. Our monsters will be a lot stronger in certain situations. That's good. That's a good way to wrap that fight up. So we'll get a bit of experience for Silverfang, but it'll probably level up a bit more later on. Fistus is doing pretty well in terms of her own level. Note that some marshals will be a bit different in terms of their abilities. Certain ones will level up at faster or slower rates. Some marshals are very good on the attack, others very good on HP, others are much better on action points. Can we get the finishing blow? 10 measly hit points. And finally the snake hair attacks. Somewhat unsurprisingly, its attack is based on a Gorgon. Now, I want to maximize my damage. Really? Really, Horn Imp? Really? You could not have timed that any better or worse. You made me look completely stupid. As soon as I said we want to maximize our damage, you decide you have to whiff. Seriously, what? Don't you like snakes? Maybe I can understand if you don't like snakes, but come on. Put some talent in your talons. Silverfang's put in work. Silverfang hasn't missed. Note that some monster attacks will ensure that they always hit. Some attacks will gain abilities later on though. So you'll really just have to level up the monsters to find out what they're like. Some of them are obviously going to be a lot better than others. We should be able to take this fight, so we'll build a healer. and then I will build a trade union. Thank you. And Penguin Soldier for the finish. And there we are. Well done, Fizders. Marshals do tend to level up a bit slower later on. So we got another blue medicine. Now I'll set Shimon out to this space, Fothwo. Now let's get that healer. So yeah, we've got anti-air and anti-ground, barricade, watchtower, trade union, supply unit. This allows us to restore our items. Now here, we can buy Black Pendant. We really want to buy some of these. That ought to do, and we want to buy three electro whips. Fizders also gets us stuff for cheap. So, let's see how Yugi's team's looking. Monsters heal 3 times as fast, so I'll wait for Yugi's team a bit. Time to speed it up. Hane Hane's international debut was in Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon as a rare. Its Japanese debut was in Volume 3 where it was a super rare. A bit of a shock, but perhaps not surprising given it was one of the original 5 effect monsters released, which actually does give it a fairly prestigious status in the overall Yu-Gi-Oh card game. Its Japanese name is a pun on the fact Hane can mean both feather and blade, and it is kind of designed to look like a feathery buzzsaw. Its upgraded form Hare Hane doubles its stats and returns 3 monsters to the hand when flipped, but needs 1 tribute to be set. Interestingly, Hane Hane can be more practical than Man-Eater Bug, because destroying a monster leaves it available for Monster Reborn. Returning it to the hand can often screw up a lot of hard work, so this card's pretty well worth it too. Right, now there was a reason for me setting up Shimon's team the way I did. As we can see, every single member of Shimon's team is Night Adept. Basically, they will get stronger at night, so observe the stats. Urabi is Wasteland Adept. This is probably the hardest one to get. On our team, we have Night Adept. Pretty handy. Let's get going, and we'll start targeting Urabi. Even with Night Adept, Shadow Spectre isn't doing very much. Shadow Spectre is mostly here to heal, because unfortunately, some of our monsters are pretty fragile. But it's kind of interesting, you have a gigantic tiger with an axe, a vicious dinosaur, and a teddy bear. But, oh well, stranger teams and all that. Yu-Gi-Oh was kind of like that. And there we are. So note that dinosaurs will be considered dragons too. Alright, so Urabi has guarded, Tiger Axe has guarded. We want to be targeting stuffed animal for a little while. At least until Urabi attacks next. This team is not overly challenging, apart from the fact that so many things miss. This is why I bought those Dragonic attacks. They make sure your dragon's attacks don't miss. And boy, that is useful. It is incredibly useful. Alright, we can start chipping away at Urabi again. Since the AI wasted its time guarding, that plays into our hands. A bit more anyway. Might have to do a bit of healing after this, but Blackland Fire Dragon will hit fairly hard. Alright, we're nearly done. Now, if I'm quick on the attack, and nobody whiffs again, we might be able to take Urubi down. Alright, so it guarded. There we go. How do we not get the points on that? Seriously, I got robbed. I've got Yugi moving down to Crowther, or however it's pronounced. Now, my controller doesn't always register the Konami code, which is really annoying.
YuGiOh.
Thank you. That will get you, as I said, 537 gold. So I'm trying to do that to raise my funds because we need goodies. But we're back for round 2. Let's try and take out Urubi really quickly. If I get another attack in, it's a goner. I don't know who's going to attack next, though. Urubi. Well, we just switch up our targets as needed. Being able to adapt is going to be very important for us. Alright, so they're waiting. It's trying to eat me. Yes, that is a big mouth on its back. Right, we should be able to finish off Urubi with no problems. You'll usually want healers at your base to give you a considerable advantage when it comes to facing various opponents. If you have to face multiple foes, you will be able to hold out by using the healer. It can be really handy because the AI will often target one monster. Early on in the game, they'll attack fairly sporadically. But there will be a point where they start targeting one monster because it's a lot more powerful. So just be cautious with that. I don't exactly know how smart the AI is, but they're fairly capable of being pretty dumb. Alright, well I'd probably better use my last action point for Shadow Spectre to heal it, just to be on the safe side. Getting rid of that small but annoying monster can be quite the task at times. But we should come out of this fight ahead. Now, press the X button to use your items, select the item, and then select the team member. Sometimes the sound will glitch out with these things. There we are. So, we've nearly got this fight won, and Yugi is nearly at his destination, I think. Alright, not bad, not bad. Yep, there's still a bit of a way to go for Yugi. We've nearly got this fight won and we'll be able to pick up some more items here. I will run you through all those. Tiger Axe chooses to wait and gets a blast of flame for its trouble. You'd think it would have at least chosen to go for one last spiteful attack. There we are. Not bad, not bad at all. So we'll build a healer and a trade union, and we'll get... So, as you can... This, by the way, this is Barrel Rock. This is Catapult Turtle. That's Castle Walls, a trap card. This is Gift of the Mystical Elf. That is something, I don't know what that is. That's... I think it's Upstart Goblin. So, we want to buy Legendary sword. Plenty of those. And maybe a cut. I would have got a couple of Book of Secret Arts, but Yugi has arrived at his destination. We'll leave Book of Secret Arts for a little while because we don't have any spellcasters and I want to focus on racking up money. Now, they do have more action points than us, but... So I think my smart option at the moment would be to target Midnight Fiend and try and take it out of the fight. I don't think they have any items. No, three-headed YuGiOh is stronger, but Midnight Fiend is also weak, and that gives us a KO. So yeah, somewhat unsurprisingly, Dark Rabbit was associated with, but not actually, in the card game, a Toon card. You would have seen it when in the episodes known as Champion versus Creator. There we go. Good shot. Alright, Dark Rabbit's out of attacks. Let's start focusing on three-headed YuGiOh. Its HP is not great. We should be able to chip it down fairly quickly since we have a reasonably strong team. We're just in the right phase of time for Knight Adept to be working. Now, I might have to plan things out a little better. Yugi's team is fairly strong, or at least it should be fairly strong after this. Now, we will be... There we are, three-headed YuGiOh's down, and the fight is over in our favour. Let's hope we get some good experience. Not as much as I'd have liked. But we've got a little more oomph behind Beaver Warrior. So let's see how the rest of this goes. I don't think time passes while we're in the middle of battles. I will need to heal Yugi's team very quickly, though. Yeah, we're still under the effects of Knight Adept. And if I play my cards right, so to speak, that's a really terrible pun, I might be able to make it. While still getting the Knight Adept boost from... for Feral Imp, which will be very handy. I think you can use certain healing items outside of battle, too. Unfortunately, Dark Rabbit's lack of action points means it's a sitting duck for most of my attacks. Not too much more to go. Come on. I do need to recruit these monsters. And there we go. Alright, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Let's get this team healed, and then I can wind up going for equipment. We need to send Yugi directly south.
YuGiOh! YuGiOh! YuGiOh!
And there we are, a battle with roaming monsters. So, we have a bit of a challenge ahead of us. We have some very interesting foes. Good, we're still under Night Adept and my beaver has an extra action point. Now you will feel the terror of beavers. You will know the horror. We are facing Hane Hane, Mystic Horseman, and Man-Eater Bug. Interestingly, Hane Hane is a beast, but it counts as a spirit monster. Man-Eater Bug has 5 action points. These two monsters are Forest Adept. Man-Eater Bug is the biggest danger at the moment, so what we want to do is target all our firepower on Man-Eater Bug to knock it out of the battle and give us an advantage. It is not very strong, but the damage it can do will rack up. Now, I don't think Mystic Horseman's attack actually gets the ability to paralyze people. Rightio. Pile it on! One more hit. One more pass. Whoa! That got him! So, if we defeat these enemies, they will be recruited to our cause. We need to win this fight. I'm a little annoyed that Hane Hane guarded because I don't know if I can do enough damage to kill Mystic Horseman. Mystic Horseman has missed, so that's a big advantage for me. Do the maths. Targeting Hane Hane might work best here. We're in a pretty good place as it happens. But they are attempting to take out my beaver. Wow, that hit hard. Alright, that's good damage. There we go, that's even better. One more shot, and we should have this. Victory is ours, and we've recruited those 3 monsters I told you about. There we are, let's get Yugi back to the base at Crowther. We can pick up a trader and buy some items there. We get Mystic Horseman, Hane Hane, and Man-Eater Bug. Not bad.
You've done well for a bunch of misfit rebels. It's been a long time since an enemy got me this excited. But playtime is over. It won't be long before you beg Sebekal for mercy.
Alright, time for our boss battle. Sebekal has Axe Raider, Mountain Warrior, and Armored Lizard. Axe Raider, my brother and I were fairly adamant, looked like Captain Falcon. So we can see that for the first time an equip item is used. Axe Raider has Legendary Sword, which buffs its attack by 500 points. Only warrior monsters can use it. Wait, whoops, I hit weight. So, what would be our best bet? Probably take out Mountain Warrior because it's the weakest on the team. Start chipping away at its health. Note that we have lost Hornium's extra power from the nighttime. But Sebekal's monsters don't have a lot of action points, which is a big advantage for us. However, Axe Raider will do a lot of damage. I think that must have been a critical. Let's keep up the damage. And we probably should put that out of the fight. There we go. Alright, so they've both guarded. They both have very capable defense. If we hit a guarding enemy, we will gradually not be able to do very much. So you actually have to do damage in order to knock them out of their defensive animations. Probably should get a bit more experience for Shimon in here. After a while, though, I think they lose their guard. We hit, but there we are. So yeah, they do actually lose the ability to defend themselves if they guard on their last action point. Because otherwise it would be a bit unfair. Now I will bring in Shimon's team to do a bit more damage. Get some more experience into his monsters. Fistus is doing pretty well, all things considered.
YuGiOh!
Alright, let's get going. Let's finish this battle off. Zombie Warrior moved a little slower than I thought. But should be able to dish out some decent damage to Armored Lizard. Alright, so Axe Raiders are already guarded. That's their most powerful monster out of commission for a little while. As you can tell, the AI really isn't that clever. If they were really smart, they'd start targeting Shadow Spectre. Which, I don't blame them. It looks really, really cursed. Let's be honest, that thing is cursed. I think I preferred its original look. Just the skull surrounded by the cloud of mist was way better. I think I'll... There we are. I'll keep it at full health just in case, because I don't think those doofuses can kill it. I'll leave the damage dealing to these two. Don't think Blackland Fire Dragon's going to be able to knock it out. But, oh yeah, we can breathe on it. See, what the hell? Easily your most powerful monster and you just guard. What are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? So we wait for a couple of turns and then let's give it an attack. There we are. Well, we came out ahead on that one. A little bit more experience. Let's knock him down, Shimon. The battle is almost over. Actually, let me move Shimon out of the way.
YuGiOh!
I'll move Fistus back to the base here. I need to jump down here with Yugi. Get the trade union and We want to buy some of these, not so much dragon treasure. That's going to be fairly handy. Violet Crystal powers up Night Adept monsters and boosts their action points. Dark Energy powers up the strength of Darklands monsters. Alright, so we're actually doing pretty well as far as item swag goes, but I want to wait for that that enemy to respawn. Alright, those enemies aren't respawning and the Konami code stopped working. It's time to take them down for good. Sorry about that. I wanted to try and farm from experience, but we might as well get this one over and done with. Alright, let's beat the crap out of Axe Raider and win the day eventually after we decided to farm gold for a while. That was probably not the smartest thing the Resistance could have done. We've been standing around doing absolutely nothing, but somehow it worked. Finally, Axe Raider bothers to attack. After it spent all of last battle guarding. What on earth was it doing? We'll be able to tool up the team next time, though. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell if the attack has hit first off. Am I going to be able to do enough damage? Should I have pressed the advantage? Might need a critical in here. Somehow I don't think Shadow Spectre's crappy power is going to cut it. We're going to come up just short. Oh, man. Well, we got the advantage. I might as well heal Blackland Fire Dragon. After all that stuffing around, I wind up getting absolutely nowhere. But yeah, the early game actually kind of sucks. Because you don't always have the decisive power you need to finish people off, especially if you're putting new monsters into your army. But we will get there. After doing plenty of chip damage and his... So, we don't actually get to farm any items out of Ashton. Once this winds up concluding, the chapter will be over. And let's go, breathe on him! Several monsters' attacks are fairly similar, all things considered. If I hadn't... You know, I could have stood around and waited until night, and I could have won that a bit easier. Bit more easily. But there we go, we got some good levels into Shimon. And there we are. Second chapter is done. And we liberated Ashton and got some money.
Ah! You'll pay for that! I was going to let you live, but not now!
Yugi! Yugi, it's you!
Oh, Tristan, what are you doing here?
Trapped in the game, just like you, I guess. Joey and the others are here too. I was just with them a little while ago. Kyber is working for the Empire. After losing to him, we felt it was safer to split up.
Kyber?
Yep, I'm not sure why he's here, but he is. Anyway, I came to the island to organize my own resistance army. I should have known that you'd be leading the resistance.
It's the role I was given. Where is everyone else?
I don't know, we all separated and went underground to gather followers for the resistance. My guess is that they're still on the mainland trying to gather support and form new units. If we keep fighting against the Empire, we're sure to run into them again.
Good point. I don't think we have any other options anyway.
Since I'm already here, I'm yours to command, Mr. Resistance Leader.
At ease, soldier. It's good to have a familiar face on my team. Even if it is Tristan.
What was that, Yugi?
Oh, nothing, Tristan. It's good to see you. Always.
That should do it.
And there we are. We earn ourselves a bit of money. And we have completed the battle for now. We'll be moving on in the next one. We'll have a few more monsters to introduce too. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.